Hey, 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 welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Your English will improve today. My name is Gabe, and I'm very happy that you're joining us for today's lesson. Now, have you ever been to see the Olympics live? What sporting event did you see? What was it like to be part of the crowds? A lot of people just enjoy watching the Olympics from the comfort of their living rooms, or on TV or online. But are the Olympic Games as exciting as they used to be? The title of today's lesson is New Olympic Sports. The question is, are the Olympic Games outdated? Are the Olympic Games outdated? I know. A lot of people might be upset at that kind of question, but it's being asked by people involved with the Olympics planning themselves. But perhaps you're wondering, what's that word outdated all about? Well, let's find all about that word and much more right now. Open up your magazine. Let's begin.
New Olympic sports. The exciting future of the Olympics. Are the Olympic Games outdated? That might seem like a strange question to ask, but it's exactly what the International Olympic Committee, IOC, is doing. At the 2012 London Olympics, IOC President Thomas Bach noticed something. You could see that the younger generation had no interest in the games anymore. They were not there. In response, the IOC wants to make the Summer Olympics more youthful. But that isn't as simple as just adding more sports.
Our title is New Olympic Sports, and just reading the title made me wonder, what kind of Olympic sports, or I should rephrase that, what kind of sports would you like to see in the Olympics that are not already in the Olympics? Have you ever thought about that before, Rebecca?
I actually have. When I was younger, as many of you know, I did Irish dancing. And this was actually a conversation that many of me and my colleagues would have. We're like, why is Irish dancing not in the Olympics? We think Irish dancing should be a sport in the Olympics, but it's not.
Are there other kinds of dancing in the Olympics?
Well, there's gymnastics.
That's pretty close.
You know, sometimes it kind of looks like dancing when they do their floor routines.
That is true, especially these days, right? You know, one sport that I would love to see in the Olympics is
that?
ultimate frisbee. Sometimes people just call it ultimate, but it's basically, friends, if you have not played it before, it's an excellent team sport, okay? I forget if it's like 5 or 7 people on each team. The field looks like a soccer field. The goal is kind of like that, to get the frisbee past the end line, okay? It's a fun game to play. Try to figure out how to play it and play it with some people sometimes. I would love to see that in the Olympics.
I actually love frisbee as well, ultimate frisbee that is, and I agree with you, Gabe. It'd be fun to see that in the Olympics. Well, we see an interesting question at the beginning of our lesson. Are the Olympic Games outdated? That question actually never quite occurred to me until I read the lesson.
Yeah, me neither. But let's take a look at that word outdated before we move on. This means not current or not in style anymore.
Right. For example, some people don't like to read some of the old classic books. Why? Because they think those books are outdated. That's an interesting idea to talk about, Rebecca. Perhaps we'll talk more about that in one of our literature lessons sometime. But it's true. Some old books people think are outdated, but you use the word classic, which means that those really are not outdated. There's still a lot that we can learn from those books. Anyway, maybe you have your own opinion about that, friends. But let's continue here. What do you think about the Olympic Games? Are they outdated? Well, we continue on. That might seem like a strange question to ask, but it's exactly what the International Olympic Committee, IOC, is doing. So in other words, they're asking this question if the Olympic Games are really outdated. And why might they be asking that question?
Yeah, we read on here at the 2012 London Olympics, IOC President Thomas Bach noticed something. You could see that the younger generation had no interest in the games anymore. They were not there.
Now, is it possible that maybe the younger generation were watching the games at home? Because if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty expensive to buy a ticket to the Olympic Games.
It's true, especially if it's not in your country. And to fly somewhere and to get the Olympic ticket. I do remember seeing gymnastics at the Olympics in Greece in 2004. And that was one of the, I think it was a cheaper ticket, and we weren't sitting up close, so it wasn't too expensive. But we didn't have enough money to see a lot of events, you know?
Right. So I feel like maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't know. Let's read on. In response, the IOC wants to make the Summer Olympics more youthful. But that isn't as simple as just adding more sports. Now, we want to take a look at this phrase, as simple as. What does this phrase mean?
Yeah, okay. So as something as, or in our lesson, as simple as this, you use this phrase when something is easy in a certain way. So somebody might think that making the Olympics more interesting is easy just by adding more sports, but it's not as simple as doing that.
For example, my cat Mittens has so much energy. However, helping her to exert her energy or get rid of her energy isn't as simple as taking her for a walk because she doesn't like to go out for walks.
That's a great example. So the idea is someone might think maybe this cat can exert energy just by going on a walk, but she's still really energetic. Okay, well, we do have more to learn about the Olympics. Now, there's a certain phrase in English, success has many fathers, and failure is an orphan.
Those are great phrases. Let's learn more about them in the Info Cloud.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Info Cloud. As some of you already know, Rex is a singer, and his mother was a professional singer as well. Rex, what would you say is the most interesting thing about show business?
Well, success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. When someone is very popular, friends or family will say how they helped you succeed, but no one takes responsibility when things go wrong.
Wow, you just shared something very profound and deep. Success has many fathers. Failure is an orphan. It implies that everyone will take credit when things go well.
On the other hand, people tend to disassociate or ignore something or someone that has failed.
A good example is when a business is failing. No one wants to take ownership of the failure, but when it's successful, everybody believes they contributed to that success in a big way.
Another way to say this expression is, victory has 100 fathers and defeat is an orphan. It has basically the same meaning.
Although there is some truth to these sayings, maybe we can learn to take ownership of situations regardless of how successful they are.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. The question in our lesson that we looked at earlier is, are the Olympics outdated? You see, people working for the Olympics committee noticed that the younger generation just didn't seem as interested in the games anymore. So perhaps they should add more sports to the Olympics? I don't know if that's the way to solve the problem. It's not as simple as that. Let's continue learning to find out more now.
New Olympic sports. The Olympic program can't continue to grow bigger. It would become too much for host cities to handle. For now, permanently adding new sports to the Olympics is out of the question. The IOC's solution is to continue to vote on the program's lineup and give host cities the option to add extra sports. The extra events would be included in that year's Olympics only. This policy takes effect at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Skateboarding, sport climbing, surfing, and 3-on-3 basketball are all making their Olympic debuts there.
Well, friends, let's continue here learning about the Olympic choices that need to be made. The Olympic program can't continue to grow bigger. It would become too much for host cities to handle. So there have been people thinking about maybe just adding sports to the Olympics, but here we see the reason that can't happen. It's just too much for those cities to handle.
So we continue. For now, permanently adding new sports to the Olympics is out of the question. So it's really not possible to add too many new sports at this time. But we want to take a look at this phrase, out of the question. What does this mean?
Okay, this is great. It's a phrase from our word bank. This means not even something that we can consider. So perhaps you're brainstorming and you're thinking of some ideas, and those are basically questions that you have. Perhaps we could do this, perhaps we could do that. If something is out of the question, we can't even consider it.
For example, let's say that you want to take a trip this summer, this August, right? And you're thinking, I guess we could go down to Hualien, we could go to Taitung, but traveling to Europe is definitely out of the question.
All right, great example. And our lesson says permanently adding new sports to the Olympics is out of the question. So there's an idea here from this sentence that perhaps it's possible to add a sport or two temporarily, but not permanently.
That's right. Well, we continue on. The IOC's solution is to continue to vote on the program's lineup and give host cities the option to add extra sports. Now let's take a look at these words, to vote on.
That's right. To vote in Chinese, you might say 投票, right? Everybody has a vote, okay? They have an opinion. Everyone's trying to make a decision, and we're going to see which has the most votes, right? Who voted for those issues. So you see that word with the word on. And you're using this phrase to talk about those issues, to vote on something.
So, for example, let's say that you and your friends want to go see a movie together, but you can't decide which movie to go see. You could say, let's vote on what movie we want to see together.
Yeah, and you could also use the word for or against. That's also words that we use with the word vote. So I'm going to vote for the Avengers. I'm going to vote against that movie or the other movie, right? Those are some ways you can use that word vote. But at the end of our lesson here, we learn about some possible sports: skateboarding, sport climbing. I've done some rock climbing before. It's fun. It's not easy, but it would be fun to watch. 3-on-3 basketball or 3x3. They're all making their Olympic debuts there.
That's right. Well, right now it's time for you to practice some of your English with Say It in English.
I'm looking for Chanel No. 5 perfume.
I'm looking for. Would you like a 30 milliliter bottle or a 100 milliliter bottle?
30 milliliter.
Wait a moment, I'll be right back. Would you like anything else?
No, that's all.
Please come with me to that cashier.
Cashier.
Could you show me your passport?
Sure. Here it is.
How would you like to pay? By cash or credit card?
Cash.
Credit card.
Credit card.
Please sign here. Here's your receipt.
Receipt.
Have a nice flight. Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, Rebecca, I think it's time for a little game, don't you?
I think it's time for Test Your Teacher. I think I'm ready to win.
Well, I will see about that. But today's guests are all the way from
Yes, I love the excitement.
And we're very happy that you are here for this game. Of course, in their hands, they are holding some words that all appear in our lesson today. So, friends, if you have your magazine open, you can try to guess the words that they are describing as well. First, let's find out what our team names are. We'll start over here with the ladies. What is our team name? VWKG.
Oh,
Excellent.
nice. Well, let's find out what my team name is.
Rebecca the Beauty.
I guess that must be me.
It must be. All right, so you see 1 minute and 30 seconds here on the clock. So we'll have the ladies begin. VWKG will
Okay.
go first. We're both going to guess their words and see who can guess more.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Okay, this is a kind of sport.
Surfing, skateboarding,
No, and you play it like
basketball.
Basketball.
I think that was me.
Okay, fine. Okay, good.
Yes.
Go ahead, Austin.
And this word like race has many sports.
These sports,
Okay,
many
Olympics,
sports.
Yes.
right? I'm a genius. Okay, good.
Okay,
1
fine.
to
You got
1.
1 point.
Excellent.
Okay, go ahead.
It's like plus.
Add. Yes. Okay, 2 points for me.
This word is like watch.
Watch.
C.
Yes.
Oh, okay. 2 points for you.
This word is like huge.
Big.
Yes.
Okay, 3 points for me.
This word is a country.
A country. Korea. Japan.
Tokyo?
Near China.
No, that's
China.
Near
Korea,
China?
Japan. Near
Near
China.
Korea.
Near Korea.
city.
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Yeah.
I said
Oh,
Tokyo.
you
I
said
got
Tokyo.
Yeah,
Okay,
3
you
points
can
right
get that.
there.
Okay, good. Well, I have 4.
And right over here, Vita.
and it passes every in like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
Year.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's 5 points for me.
Good. Nice
Okay.
job, Rebecca.
Weird people, we call them.
Strange.
Yes.
Yes. Great. Good.
Nice job.
You have answered and you will have a.
A solution.
No.
Am I right? A question.
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
4.
Okay.
This word's definition is like the 10 years later or
10 years
20
later.
A decade.
No, 5 years.
Okay, hold on. Time is up.
Oh, time's up.
Hold on a second. I got 4 points.
I think I have 6 points.
Okay, you have 6 points. Before we announce the winner, I want to know what your word is. What was the word you're describing?
The word is future.
Future.
Oh, future.
All right. Well,
You were doing great.
Rebecca, you did win today.
Yes.
So that means Rebecca the Beauty is today's winner.
Good job. Yay.
Yeah, well, that's very nice job. But you guys all did a great job. Thank you very much. And friends, I'm sure you got all those definitions as well. You guessed all of those words. That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next time right here on
Studio Classroom.